It's another day, another sunny start today as well, which is rather nice. But it also means there's new news coming out about West Ham, which is typical at the moment. It does feel like every day there's something quite big. And this morning we're waking up to the news of Lucas Paqueta surrounding his long-term future at West Ham. Now there's significant doubts now creeping in whether he's going to be remaining at West Ham, because it appears that Brazilian side Flamengo are keen on signing the player, and it's all two sides to this at the moment. All right, I say this is a little bit early, so I don't want to sort of say anything too concrete at the moment, because it's hard to say. But basically, we've got sources from Brazil have basically suggested that Lucas Paqueta has been in talks with Flamengo since May, and that he was out there, spoken to the club, and basically he's very keen on a move back to Brazil. I suspect that a lot of this is to do with the whole betting stuff that's going on, etc, etc. And apparently this is what we're hearing at the moment, is that the talks have gone well, that the club want the player wants the move, and that they've in fact got a representative coming now to London to try and get this deal over the line. I mean, it's going to be a permanent move if it's going to be, if they're going to table something, because a loan obviously wouldn't suit West Ham in any way, shape or form. It wouldn't do us any favours. Because look, let's be frank, isn't it? When you talk about Paqueta at the moment, there's this huge cloud hanging over him. This betting allegation stuff is not going away, and it's not good. And it brings with it risk. We're carrying a lot of risk with Paqueta. We could stand to lose a lot of money. We're talking, £100 million. We could easily lose quite from Paqueta being found guilty. He's found guilty, we're stuffed. We'd have to terminate his contract. We'd lose money on the player sales. It'd be a legal nightmare. I just think that is certainly hanging over us, so we can't get away from it. Now, I know that the club have said, well, they feel confident nothing's going to come of this. Well, not going to come of it. They do feel confident that he will be found not guilty. But don't forget, this is the same, club that have been saying they weren't expecting him to be charged. So I don't think we can really guess. We can't just go on a whim. So it's interesting this, because let's be honest, Man City aren't going to come and buy the player now. That's not going to happen until this is all resolved. So the fact is that if Flamengo are coming in and saying, well, look, we'll buy Paqueta off you, let's just say they're offering 60 million, they might see an opportunity here. We could get a top player for a bit of a reduced fee, because West Ham might be willing to let him go for less money, just so they can sort of get rid of the risk and then move on. The question is, what do West Ham do? Do West Ham take the opportunity? It's really tough, isn't it? Because when you think of Lucas Paqueta and having him available, you get excited. You think that's exactly what we need. But then at the same time, if West Ham can get rid of this issue, I think there'll be an attraction to that. I really do. Now, as I say, in terms of the facts of this, we've been told from the Brazilian side at the moment, this is just from myself, all right, that the player's keen on the move. He's been talking to them since May, and that they've got a representative coming to London to try and get this over the line. That's the line from there. Now, haven't had an update anything yet from ex-WHU employees. Going to obviously provide an update and get our stance. From what I understand it, though, from Sean Whetstone, what he's put on his West Ham Football Twitter account, or X account, whatever you want to call it these days, he has basically said that the club have flatly denied it. No interest in selling Paqueta. It's news to them. Blah blah blah. That's the line for the club at the moment. But that's not to say nothing's going to happen, because as I say, what we're getting from Brazil is pretty detailed. It's giving us dates and etc and saying that Paqueta's agent is trying to negotiate the move, etc. So what do we do? It's tricky, isn't it? A player of Paqueta's quality you don't want to see go, but then at the same time, this betting stuff isn't going away. And will West Ham see this as an opportunity to go, do you know what? We can cut our losses here, draw a line, move on, and reinvest, and basically, because at the end of the day, if he gets found guilty, then it's not our issue. But it's a big gamble. It's going to be certainly one. It's an interesting one. As I say, it does feel like every day something new comes out, doesn't it? When it comes to West Ham, there's some sort of big groundbreaking story, and this is obviously the one at the moment today. It could come to nothing, of course. It could be that it's simply journalists spreading news about this, and actually the player's very happy. Don't forget as well, we just had the press conference from Lopetegui and Steierton, and Paqueta was quite a key focus in that, and they were making it very clear that the player was very happy and they want to make him part of the family, etc. There was no kind of indication there that they were, in talks to be selling the player. That's certainly not the impression we got anyway. So, or I got, should I say? But it's certainly food for thought, I think, this one, because Yeah, it'd be gutting to see Paqueta go. Of course, if this is correct, let's go with the assumption that this is correct. What do you do? Would you let Paqueta go, which I was to say would be quite sad? But then, is it a good option for West Ham? A good opportunity, sorry, just to draw a line, move on, and then reinvest? I don't know. I can see the attraction, really. I really can. I've got to be honest in regards to that. But yeah, I think this is going to be very interesting. We'll give like a proper comprehensive update on the website later today. Obviously, it could even be this morning actually, in terms of when we get it from X. So we'll keep an eye out for that. Also, just quickly in other news, we've got bids going in now for Max Kilman. We talked about this last night. Max Kilman, which they're going to look, and Todibo, they're going to also up the bid there. So there's 2 bids going in, and also it appears that Ipswich Town are now looking to sign Philogene from Hull City, also with Greaves as well. 2 targets for West Ham. Now, I don't know if Greaves is considered a sort of top target at the moment. I think he's sort of weighing up options, but not. I don't think he is considered a top target at the moment. But Philogene certainly is. So I think that's my will prompt West Ham now to sort of pull the finger out and start getting some movement on that. So certainly watch this space. It's going to be an interesting day. And yeah, hopefully we'll find out a bit more about Paqueta. Come on, your irons.